Alright, so S2A Bakuen Walker was just unveiled tonight, and with each set onward, I kind of want to make a video like this on the night they reveal the cards, just to talk about the art and the little nuances in the art style, the little things that people overlook when talking about Pokemon cards. There's a lot of work that goes underappreciated in this franchise, and I hope with this series I can at least make people think about the cards a little bit more other than just their moves and set and stuff like that. So let's start. This is Butterfree V, and it's really nice that this generation they're not doing like very generic CG. Here you have like little textures and stuff like that, the compound eyes you can see through clearly, sparkles and bubbles and stuff, and it's very saturated. This generation's very colorful. It's nice. Moving on, we have Butterfree V Max. These ones are a little bit more generic in their CG, but they have enough of the card attributes that set it apart from regular CG, EXs, and GXs. Each of the cards are textured, obviously, and it's just really nice to get two of these in a Japanese box rather than just like one textured card. Texture goes a long way. It's Butterfree G-Max. You can't do much with it, unfortunately. It kind of blends into the background because it's a transparent Pokemon. But hopefully with the next G-Max cards, they show more of the Pokemon, and it's not just CG. Oh, nice. We have Mizue's Kaburumo. Here it looks like it's taking place on a summer morning. Sort of reminds me of my middle school. I used to walk to school every day, and looks a lot like that did. Especially early morning, in like the fall or late summer. Yeah, it's just really nice dew on the grass. Very nice, simple trees in the background just to show the distance. It's really nice. The focal point is obviously the sunrise. Yeah, and your eye is guided, and what's blocking your vision but Kaburumo, so you can pay attention to it more. Moving on, we have Chobomaki. It's really nice. Megumi Mizutani always knocks it out of the park. Their work always seems so official. I mean, technically it is, but what I mean by that is it looks like stock art. Here you have Chobomaki in the wild area. It looks like it to be about 11 a.m. Still has its shell, so Kaburumo hasn't found it yet. But yeah, look at that. You can see the blur in the background. You can see the blur in the foreground even with that grass there. Even the lighting in Megumi Mizutani's art has outlines. I love the textured sort of spilling of the overhead lighting. It's really nice. Nice. Moving on, we have a Gilder, Agiruda, by Shigenori Negishi. It's very Shigenori Negishi piece with the contrasting rim lighting and the dark outlines. And you see a Gilder. It's no coincidence that it takes up the space of the moon, so your eye is always focused on it. And despite being very simple, the rendering on the trees in the background are very nice, and the simple brushstrokes for the leaves are very nice against that blue. I've seen that sky before, you know? It's really nice when they accomplish lighting that's very realistic like that. Moving on, we have Amakaji by Yuka Mori, yeah? Did you know that, it should be pretty obvious by now, but there are a few people who don't know. These are not 3D, they're actually photographs, so these are one of the only types of cards that are actually just photographs, but there's still artwork that goes into it. These 3D models are made by Yuka Mori herself, and I wonder if she has them all in her room or something, or if these are like, yeah, I mean, I would want them, that'd be great. Imagine if she sold them. Actually, could you sell them? They're kind of like your children at that point. Yeah, oh, man, just great. I always wonder how much time is she given before she's making a card like this? Like, when was this picture taken? It'd be an interesting thing to ask her. Moving on, we have Amamaiko by Sui. Wow, you can always tell a Sui piece by how like watery and flowy and glowy, and I don't know, it just feels like all of Sui's art can be attributed to the fairy type, you know? Even though it's not really. It's just great. It's nice to see. Sui, very shiny eyes there. Wow, reflecting a lot. Really nice moon in the background. You'd be surprised that Amamaiko's not a fairy type looking at this. It's really nice. Moving on. Ooh, wow. Sotaro with Tamajo. Wow. Very dynamic. Guess it was just running from the beach, perhaps it's afraid of the sunset. No, maybe it's just trying to go home after seeing the sunset. You could see, very nice, like the hint of things in the background there with the changing colors. So they just they make some brush strokes and erase away until it looks like the shapes that they want to convey. That's like a rhyme. And wow, yeah, you can even see the clouds of the sunset sort of seep into the leaves of that palm tree right there, because I'm assuming Sotaro zooms out sort of like this when drawing, and only kind of zooming in to work on the details of things that are going to be in focus. So these petals here, the trail of light, the Amajo herself, but with leaving the rest of it, because with every piece of art you're trying to guide eyes, and here the eyes are guided pretty well from the sunset, which is very bright. It's probably, yeah, I think it is the brightest part of the image. Maybe this white is bright, but yeah, and then the trail brings you to Amajo herself, guides you up with this shine right here, and then keeps you staying with these shines over here. You're very nice. Sotaro's always good. Moving on, we have Kosoku Mushi by Maho. Maho is one of my favorites. It really looks like clip art, sort of, or like those SD anime shows that Studio Pierrot does with like Black Clover or Naruto. Really good to see. Maho, there's a lot of work there. You can tell that they worked a long time to get this good. It's really hard to make things look so polished, but still so, like, they retain so much character. This guy looks, he looks hopeful for the future. And his future is Gusoku Musha. I'm so glad that was Gusoku Musha. I didn't even know. These are my first time seeing the cards. If that was someone else, that'd be pretty embarrassing. Ryuta Fuse brings us Gusoku Musha. And I can't really tell the background. It looks like a whirring forest in the back. I guess he's jumping from tree to tree. And at 2 meters and 108 kilograms, ooh, running into him jumping from tree to tree, I mean, you wouldn't really run into him. You'd hear him from very far away. That'd be kind of scary. Not even kind of. That'd be very scary. Anyways, really nice. Ryuta Fuse has really crisp line art. There's no line width variation. All of the variation of the planes and volume of the shape that Gusoku Musha is are it's depicted by the shading and the lighting. It's a very sort of meticulous process rather than doing it all at once. So you can tell they did the pencils first, or sorry, the inks, and then they colored it, and then they shaded and lit it. It's really nice. It's good. Aspiring line artists, take note of Ryuta Fuse's work. Looks like a bit like anime, but a bit more rendered. Moving on. We have, oh wow, Anisaki Dynamics Heatran. You know, Anisaki Dynamic, they're kind of like a Pokemon. They say what they are. Very dynamic. You have the post-processing motion blur of its front and back legs. Guess it's in a volcano, probably gonna eat some snacks. Do they eat magma? Does Heatran eat magma? I hope it does. That's kind of cool. Moving on. Oh man, wow. Uta's work, always so good. The background's very like 80s anime or 80s American cartoon animated in Japan. The cell shading anime backgrounds, you know, looks very good. Looks very OG and Pokemon, like season 1 sort of look to it. You have the very soft brush strokes indicating the haze. You have the grace, like returning to grayscale with distance. It's really nice. You can see here too, very few brush strokes in the very distant background, but enough color variation to show that the distance. It's really nice. And Merlarva itself, very nice rendering on its fur. Really nice. You know, I always wondered, what's the texture of these red things? Is it kind of like licorice? It kind of looks like licorice. Yeah. I mean, even that rock. Uta, another one to watch. Another one to watch. Here we have Olgamoth by NC Empire. NC Empire? I don't think I know them. They might be new. Anyways, this looks really familiar because I think everyone's drawn Olgamoth like this. I mean, it doesn't move too much as a Pokemon, so it'd be pretty obvious to see this one in this position all the time. Really nice. You can tell this one's digital. They have the brushstroke and erase method for fire with color dodge. Then they drew Olgamoth completely, and then they put an overlay for the blue highlights and the pinks here and the purples. And all in all, it's a masterful handling of digital software. Very good. Moving on, we have Mitsuhiro Arita with Hino Yakoma. Did it start the forest fire here? Because if so, man, Pokemon are kind of too strong, huh? Even a little bird like this can cause a huge fire. Anyways, Mitsuhiro Arita coming through again with amazing pencil colors, pencil crayon looking art here. I think he uses a Corel Painter, and he has a masterful grasp of it. You can even see like the hint of trees in the fire there with the straight lines. Very nice. He's you could tell he's studied a lot to get to where he is. He's the lighting's master. He's possibly my favorite. What's it called when it's cinematography but in an image? Is it still cinematography? Because if it is, he's my favorite cinematographer of the Pokemon TCG. Moving on, we have... Oh my god. Wow. First of all, that's a muscular bird. Second of all, damn, Kawaii is always so good. And since the beginning, since I started in Heart Gold Soul Silver, I've been collecting every piece of their art that I can. And I think I have every single one of their cards. I'll go through and look one day. But wow. Just it feels smooth as butter. You just cut in with a butter knife, and you know just that feeling when everything just locks in place and it's just so smooth when you're painting. Kawaii just does that every time. They have an amazing grasp of lighting and musculature, and just rendering the textures are so good, even though it's just feathers. You can tell. There's little mini brushstrokes everywhere, just to show that. Even the bark on that tree, even though it's in the background and it's a little blurry, you can still see. It's that type of bark. You know that type. Even the dead grass here, it's great. Just a great card. Yeah, there's a little fruit there. Hey, Fire, you gonna eat that? Wow. Really nice. Moving on. We have Maru Yakedo V. Wow. 5 bond graphics. They did a lot of the EXs and GXs. Actually, I think maybe all of them. Almost all of them, anyways. And their stuff used to be pretty generic. I mean, this one, it is still somewhat generic, but I mean, at least you have some semblance of a background, and you have nice, really nice rim lighting here. Actually, the rim lighting on this fire kind of suggests that it's part of the Pokemon itself and not just fire. Interesting. Huh. Yeah. I guess it's kind of like a toy being photographed, sort of. Cool. Here we have, oh wow, Maru Yakedo VMAX, or the Gigantamax version of Maru Yakedo. Also by 5 Ban. Less generic than Butterfree, but that's just because of the Pokemon's stark design in comparison to the pretty naturalistic G-Max Butterfree. You have the pretty wild and out there Maru Yakedo G-Max. Yeah, just big old long snake stove. A snaking stove, a centipede stove. Interesting Pokemon. Interesting card. Moving on, we have Misatsutsui with Galarian Barriered. And I guess it's doing a tap dance and making some ice. Wow. Look at the rendering on that ice there. The high contrast really shows how shiny it is. It seems like it's that really clear ice, you know? If you had it in your hand, it would be very clear. The type they put in drinks, with all the bubbles removed from it. Really nice. Maybe he can be a bartender after he's done this fight. Maybe he is a bartender. Moving on, we have Naoki Saito. Wow, this looks straight out of Sonic. It looks like we have Barikoru, the unexpected evolution. No one ever expected this. Everyone wanted it, but maybe not as this. I like him. He's funny. Strange guy. Yeah, wow. Naoki Saito. You can tell it immediately that it's Naoki Saito. They have the very sharp sort of differences in shading. If they were toys, they'd be very sort of blocky in a cool way, you know. I've always admired their lighting. I mean, that should be obvious. My old work, it really looks a lot like Naoki Saito's lighting. At least I was trying to make it look that way. Yeah. Moving on. Oh wow, Hyogo Nosuke, possibly my favorite of the lineless artists of the TCG. You have it in that the little pond next to the Professor Magnolia's house. Wow, look at that house even. I mean, yes, Hinbass is nice, but wow, look at that house. Look at the trees, everything. It all seems so simple. It seems so simple, but there's a lot of work that goes into this to get this far, and I don't know, it just I appreciate it a lot. Really nice. Very sharp artwork. It's nice. I say nice a lot, don't I? Anyways, moving on. We have Mila Kuros. We've seen this one a few weeks ago. Akira Egawa. Really nice rendering on the skin of Mila Kuros. You can really tell what it feels like, which is something that not a lot of people do. It's always interesting to see a realistic approach to these cartoony designs. And really nice sea life in the background. Cool specular lighting all over Mila Kuros. And it's really, they guide your eye really nicely with I guess you'd call them eyebrows? I don't know. Eyebrows? Yeah. The eyebrows that guide you into its face, even the eyelashes guide you into its face. Then the lighting guides you all over its body to look at the subject in the image. Really nice. Moving on, we have Kamasyun by Saya Tsuruta. Saya Tsuruta is another one of those who has very official looking artwork, if you know what I mean by that. And this looks like it's taking place in a gym or something, because there's a Pokeball right there. Interesting. Actually, maybe it's just a Easter egg. It's a really nice, sort of reminds me of those Coca-Cola commercials with the polar bears. But I don't really want to think about drinking stuff when it's not out like that, you know? Really nice lighting. I love the pinks that people use in snowy pictures. That's how you know they've been in snow before. Those pink skies are like the signature of winter. Very nice. Moving on, we have Tunbear by Masakazu Fukuda. Oh wow! The rim lighting on this is very digital. Wow. Really nice. It looks like he's swimming, yeah, in a ice flow. Really nice work. Cool lighting, all the light that's being diffused from the glaciers, or sorry, not the glaciers, the flows themselves. Refracting? Is that refracting? Yeah, refracting onto his belly. Really nice. I like his face. It's always, it's funny to see such a simple face looking so angry. Moving on, we have Yoashi. Little baby. Baby crying. Wait, is this like SpongeBob? How is it crying, but it's in water? You don't ask these sort of questions. Wow, man, they're doing what they do best, water. It's really nice. Yeah. Looks like nice texture inside Yoashi's body. You can see there and there. Wow. Moving on, we have Kuwaganon V by Ayaka Yoshida. Ayaka Yoshida puts a lot of texture into her work, and I'm assuming her, sorry. Yeah, it's just comes through really well. really nice work on its legs there. In the background itself as well. Looks like it's firing a bolt too. Paradaisu Boruto. Oh, yeah, paralyzing bolt. There you go. Moving on, we have Eruzun by Akira Komeyama. Looks like a summer afternoon in the shade. What you doing? You know, this one was considered a baby alongside the event that just happened before Easter a few days ago in Sword and Shield. So, I'm surprised that it's not considered a baby Pokemon card. Interesting. Moving on, we have Strinder by Shinagasawa. Very sly looking, I guess. Very Shinagasawa. We have the smooth gradients with the specular lighting. Very high contrast gradients as well. His work always looks so shiny, you know? Very nice. We have Otumami with Budu. Really, really good backgrounds in this set. They're all very lineless, you know? And the clouds make little bows on Budu's head. Really cute picture. Very good style. Grainy, textury lines. It's really nice to see. I'm glad that's becoming popular again. Moving on, we have Gramble. Wow, pretty angry Gramble by Satoshi Nakai. The rendering on the steam. Wow, they even got the shadows of the steam. Very well done. What are you so angry at, Gramble? Jeez. Moving on, we have a completely drawn V, which I'm so happy to see lately. We have Sir Knight V by Kagemaru Himeno. Very, how do you describe this? It's sort of, not shiny, it is shiny, but it's in like a airbrushed sort of way. Their style is always airbrushed. It's with sharp, sort of very bright lighting. Really nice. I guess it's about to shoot off a magical shot. There you go, Magikaru Shotto. Moving on, we have Sir Knight VMAX. I'm surprised that they didn't do a Mega Sir Knight sort of thing for this. I mean, I understand why they didn't, because it's supposed to be Dynamax, but it would have been cool if VMAXs were also Megas. So if Pokemon that have a Gmax form were to Gigantamax, they would sometimes turn into a Mega Evolution. Or rather, if they have a, you know what I mean, if they had a Mega Evolution, if they were to Gmax, it would sometimes turn into the Mega Evolution appearance. But I understand that there'd be a lot of issues with that. So, you know, maybe it makes sense that it's not Mega Sir Knight. And perhaps I'll just cut that entire part out. Okay, let's just talk about it a little bit. Yeah, you know, it's a VMAX, a bit bigger, has texture. This was their shot to do a CG Sir Knight, and here they took it. 5 bond graphics, no stranger to Sir Knight. Next we have Miki Tanaka's Lunatone. Very visual, visible brushstrokes, which I'm always a big fan of. You can see, I believe this is digital, but it might not be. You know, I'm not sure. Miki Tanaka, I'm not too familiar with their work besides what I see in the cards. And it's just really good. It's those sweet brush marks in its eye. Nice, simple foreground, simple sky. You're just focusing on Lunatone's eye, really. And it's looking at the moon, looking at what it once was. Actually, what is Lunatone? Meteor, right? Maybe it's from the moon originally, who knows? Be kind of cool. Moving on. Okay. I mean, look at him. I don't know if I've said it already. I probably have, but this is my first time seeing these cards in the set, and I was not expecting a Dedenne, especially in the Psychic section. But I guess there's no more Fairy type in the cards, so here's where he's gonna stay. Look, he's hanging out with some mushrooms. What's he doing? What kind of mushroom is that, Dedenne? make sure you look it up before you eat it. You little idiot. Shibuzo always doing these cards such justice, and Dedenne is no exception. Oh man, I don't know why this stupid rat makes me so happy, but he really does. Unfortunately, moving on. We have Nemush. Nemush, maybe it's in the same forest as this guy. Suama Chiaki. Gotta move on from Dedenne somehow. Wow, man, look at that background. Jeez, it's a realistic lighting, but when you zoom in, it's simple. That's like my favorite sort of thing. They have a very nice background. The foreground's really soft looking. It looks like there's a lot of moss in this forest, on the forest floor. Nemush is just traipsing along, I guess. You know, with a head so big, how do its small legs support it? How does it walk? Moving on, we have Mashed, or Mashade, Mashedo. By Misa Tsutsui as well. Airbrush look to it. We have nice bright lighting. We have the cool bioluminescence from that mushroom, and of course the bioluminescence from Mashed itself. I guess this is in Glimwood Tangle, which is probably my favorite area of the game. It's a really nice area. I wish there was more that took place there. Perhaps in any sort of sequel or hopefully DLC. More areas like this would be nice. Moving on. We have probably a few cards left. We have Yabacha. Koki Saito. I think he started in EX Ruby and Sapphire, or perhaps a little bit earlier in the E series. But ever since, this style has been the most consistent, very clean, very sort of ad looking. It looks like an advertisement, sort of. Like a quintessential Pokemon art style, Koki Saito. And I mean, I can't believe the guy follows me on Twitter. He's looking at my stuff and he's making stuff like this for decades now. Crazy. Great job here, obviously. Yabacha, one of the cooler Pokemon. I wasn't expecting him, you know. I thought Poto Desu was just a one stage. But then I start playing the game and then there's this little guy. It's fun. A funny little guy. Speaking of which, Kirisaki with Poto Desu. It's a bot. Really colorful background. I wouldn't be surprised if this idiot is in the same forest as this idiot. Perhaps in a different area. Really nice. It's cool how they probably unintentionally incorporated the swirl of the HP into the art. It's probably unintentional, but it's a nice little after effect, I guess. Swirly plants are pretty cool, in contrast to the line art style of Poltodesu himself. Kirisaki always doing a good job. Another good entry to the to the collection. Hideki Ishikawa. That always trips me up. I'm always thinking that it's gonna be Ichikawa, but it's Ishikawa this time. Wow. We have a really soft background. Again, it looks a bit like Uta's work, especially with the rock there too, but it's a little different. It's a little bit more digital looking. You have the really nice textures of the Digda in the background, and then the Digda in the foreground. I mean, he's just a tube, but they still indicated movement there. You know, they still indicated with that slight curve, even though this side is pretty uniform. This side, that slight inward curve makes him look like he's just popping out to check, to see what's going on in the impending dusk. What you gonna do tonight, Digda? Moving on, we have Yukiko Baba. Wow, it's been a while since I've seen one of their cards. It's nice. Really nice. Really nice pencil crayon looking art. Even though it's all, I think, oil. Looks like it's supposed to be oil painting, actually. Not pencil crayon looking art. What am I saying? Really nice art. Really simple. Looks like an older sort of card. I'm a fan. I like it. Let's go to the next page. Let's see how this is going to work. Oh, we have Yogiras by Sanosuke Sakuma. Another very established artist. They've been around for a while now. I've been seeing their stuff. I've been at least noticing their stuff since Gen 5. So it's nice that they're continuing to do stuff. I always like seeing repeat offenders, sort of, when it comes to Pokemon card art. I like seeing artists come on and then stay. That's my favorite. And we have Yogiras. It's taking care of a flower. It's a very maternal Yogiras, I guess. I wonder if it turns into that Mama Bangiras from the anime. Moving on, we have Sekio. Damn, Sekio's Sanagiras. Here's the pencil crayon look too. And you know what? I'm wrong. That's watercolor look. Yeah, that's a watercolor look. Why do I keep saying things are pencil crayon looking? I'm inexperienced, that's why. Here we have Sanagiras just flying through a forest, cutting down a tree for some reason. Are you going to eat it or something? I know this guy has to eat like a mountain of dirt to turn into this guy. So, do you start eating trees now? I don't know. I don't know why it's cutting down that thing, or the tree, but it is. And I guess to show off how strong it is. Oh, you know what? It's probably training. It's training. That's what it's doing. Moving on, we have Bangiras. Wow, Nagimiso's Bangiras. Very anime, sort of like an anime game art to it. Really contrasty, very interesting shapes for the lighting and shadows. The background is even really nice. The background's very high contrast shading, but they're simple shapes. It looks a lot like sort of Persona 5 look to it, you know? Well, whereas Bangiras looks like it looks like Dragon Ball art to me. A little bit like Dragon Ball in terms of the levels of shading on it. How many levels of shading on it? Let's count. There's one, there's the brightest, the second brightest, the middle, the first stage darker, and then the second stage darker. So there's 5 layers. 5 levels of shading in this. It's really nice. Good to keep consistent. Yeah, we have Soul Rock now by Miki Tanaka. It's taken up the entire space of the sun because it is, I guess, an avatar of the sun, perhaps? I don't know. It's again in that wild area. You have, you know, that big rock where only Lunatone or Soul Rock appear. It's right there. And I like the brush strokes in the sky. Very smooth transition while being very deliberate. Very deliberate look. That's what you'd call it. It's really nice. And Soul Rock is lineless except for outside here and stuff like that, and the inside of the rocks to show the deepest shadows of its form. And it looks kind of sleepy. Yeah. Moving on, we have Boruto, or Horudo. Horudo. We have walking on a trail here, looking at the lighthouse. And cool guys don't look at sunsets, so I guess he's pretty cool. These cool little leaves here. Fun texture on him. It's nice from far away. You can see the grain there. It's really nice. When you zoom out, everything looks really nice. When you zoom in, everything looks really nice. So mission accomplished. Cool little cave back there. Probably going home after an expedition. What kind of berries do you have in the pouch there, buddy? Moving on. We have, oh wow. Otosupasu V. Very textured from Planeta Igarashi. Look at that water. Very nice. Really, really dynamic. It seems like it's a still from a commercial for like Capri Sun or something, like feel the quenching power of Otosupasu juice. Squeezed with the might of many Otosupasu. We take the finest berries and turn it into the freshest juice. I'm gonna move on. Ryota Murayama, who did all of the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire booster pack art, here with a very dynamic, very funny Beto Beta. It's what's he reaching out for? He's like doing his best Gomu Gomu impression. You don't have a devil fruit, my man. Moving on, we have Beto Beton by Eddie Yamaki. Really nice brush strokes in this one. Yeah, the swamp. It looks like he's calling. It kind of looks like the end scene of Revenge of the Sith with Anakin and Obi-Wan. You were my brother. I hate you. But I mean, clearly he's not that anguished. Beto Beton, what you doing in the swamp, buddy? You need help getting out? Holy. We have Nagimiso's Darkrai, again with the very interesting shapes in the shading and lighting. Lots of layers, levels of shading and lighting too. Just like last time, a really nice background. It reminds me a bit of Soul Eater, the style. It's nice, very good. There's a lot of Darkrai cards, and it's nice to see ones that stand out from others. Here we have Choroneko by Soso. Soso is such a good artist. It's a really like storybook look to it, always consistently good. It feels like if you just put like some white text on each of these and tell a little story, you can take each of Soso's pieces of art and just make like a storybook for children. Just to look at the drawings. I mean, I would probably like that if I were a kid. Moving on, we have, if I can, oh, I have Leopardus in the wild area as well. Who's this by? This is by Hasuno. Hasuno is another one of those who has really good grasp on lighting and shading and just great perspective and atmosphere. The ambient lighting in the back there on the bottom of the pillars, as well as the lighting on Choroneko's head. I mean, sorry, Leopardus's head and musculature. Very good at distinguishing the form. And yeah, you have like even the rendering, and like you're not even going to be paying attention too much to the rendering of the top of the bridge there. And even though it's blurred to show the perspective and depth, there's still a lot of detail on there. They did when zooming out. I mean, because you're supposed to look at it like this, obviously. You look at it like that. Flawless. Very good. I always like Hasuno's work because their line art is still present, even though they have a very painterly style. Faintly present, and it's colorful too. It's a nice approach. Here we have Nao Yokimura's Kokodora. It sort of looks like he's listening to an old man tell a story. He's listening to an old Boscadora telling a story of when he was young. Really nice. I love the painting look to the background. Even without the Kokodora, you can see this like hanging in a dentist office, or like on a house, on a wall in a house. It's very nice art. Very good piece of art. And then it's Pokemon. What a bonus. We have Kodora by Mizue. Really anime looking, sort of online, sort of new look to it. It's a very new style of art. Really nice highlight on Kodora. I guess he's fallen down in this pit, and he's looking for the exit. Whew. Hasuno's Boscadora. Wow, look at that. The very simple but the brushstroke, the very simple but like the erratic brushstrokes, sort of, but very deliberate at the same time for the lighting there, and very energetic look to it. The underlighting always has like a sort of sinister but also powerful look to it, you know. It's a very mesmerizing piece. Like, I feel like probably one of my favorites of the set. I still think Merlarva's my favorite. I don't know yet. Boscadora, you're a contender. Very nice. Here we have Chevar Go. Wow. Pokemon League. Taking on the Grass Challenge, huh? Anisaki Dynamic, being very Anisaki Dynamic. The motion blur there, even the crowd, it's just a bunch of brushstrokes, but you can tell it's people from far away. You can tell. See? The power of implying things rather than explicitly drawing them. Because if you were to have a piece this big, but then you blow it up and you draw every single person, no one's going to look at that except for people who are zooming in. But if they're going to look at it like this, you can tell that there are people there. Very important lesson for all artists to learn is to imply things if you're not going to be focusing on them, and put all of your focus and time and energy into the subject of the painting, which in this case is Chevargo with the beautiful brushstrokes to show the brushed metal look of his stolen shell, obviously. And the lance there with the very nice lighting. Wicked. A wicked piece. I wonder who he's fighting. Moving on to the next card. We have Galarian Magyo V. This guy, I was not expecting to see in Sword and Shield at all. It was really nice to see a Gen 5 Pokemon get a regional form, and I hope there's more of them in the DLC. I feel like Gen 5 got the shaft when it came to Megas, except for Tabune, and maybe another one I'm forgetting, but probably just Tabune. And I think they could benefit from a lot more care and attention. People can appreciate Gen 5 for more than just a Kanto clone. Anyways, Planet Tetsuji, with very nice 3D rendering on the material that Magyo is made out of. It gives you an idea of what these Pokemon would actually feel like or look like in real life. It's nice. You can see that its beak looks like plastic. It looks like the Pokeball. It's really nice. Good job on that one. Mina Nakai coming through with a very watercolor look to it. This looks a lot like one of my friend's work. Really nice texture from the brush. This one's very deliberate blotting of brushwork. It's and they're taking advantage of the paper grain. Even though this might be digital, even if it's not digital, I mean, yeah, even if it's digital, they're taking advantage of like the grain of the negative space. So they're still using negative space to an effective way. Like for example, this the O on his stomach, on Otachi's stomach, and the little pads on his paws. They must have been, I guess, maybe taped over if this is not digital, or just masked if it is digital, and then after they just add a little bit of wash to show the shading on there. Just a very conscious drawing, conscious of what they're doing. Yeah, it's nice. Moving on, we have Ootachi, Tetsuya Koizumi. You can tell it's Tetsuya Koizumi because they only use common letters in their name. No, I'm joking. You can tell because of their style. They have a very unique style. Again, it's like a storybook. You can see this being a cover of a book at like a children's bookstore. And here he is in like an autumn forest on a dying tree. Just, I guess he's looking out. Maybe looking for berries. What a fun guy. I love the colors of his eyes. It's interesting. Really nice one. Moving on, we have Tomokazu Komiya. Really great work. Always consistently good. This looks like it's taking place in the same place as stupid little Dedenne. Very good work. I love the way they deform everything. I love the colors they use. I love the way they make the textures look. It's always it's like a modern classic. You gotta look at every piece of the image, appreciate every single little shape. I know it's he's a bit of a bit of a point of contention for Pokemon card fans, Komiya's work, but honestly, deserves every bit of recognition it gets. And anyone who has a full collection, hat goes off to you. It's great to have. Great to have. Yayakoma. Midori Harada. Wow. Sort of, I know Midori Harada's work is traditional, but this looks very digital. It's nice. Perhaps it is digital. Maybe I'm wrong now. The background. Oh man, it's perfect for this time of year. Unfortunately, nobody can go outside to watch the cherry blossoms, but they're gonna be there if they're not there already. And Yayakoma is taking advantage of that for sure. You can see the nice pink highlights on its tail there. I always love how Yayakoma is literally just a head with wings and legs. I mean, that's kind of what birds are, but Yayakoma, I mean, does it even better. Funny bird, great card. Moving on. Ooh, Kokogara we have by Hitoshi Ariga. Again, Ariga, another master of lighting, backgrounds, atmosphere. The eyes of Kokogasu look very Rockman EXE sort of look to it, like a Metal or a Meteor. And I know Ariga has experience with Rockman, so I guess that's mission accomplished because looks very Rockman-like. Looks a bit like I don't know if the character's name is Beat. It looks like Beat. Yeah, there you go. Haogarasu, Blue Crow, pretty much. Kirisaki. Look, he's splashing around. Very deliberate, sort of crunchy look to the water, but it works so well in contrast to everything else because you can tell that there's motion there. You can tell that this guy is just flapping his wings, probably just taking a little bath. It's cool. Really nice work on the background there. Blurred, but a lot of detail, a lot of texture. It's really nice. Koki Saito. Oh, Armor God. Nice. It's the guy from Twilight Wings. At least that's what I'm hoping it is. Wow. Just Taxi, the Armor God Taxi. It's the actual name of it. Anyways, really nice rendering. You know, I thought that it was a bit more metallic than this, but Koki Saito actually makes Armor God look a lot more organic than it normally does. It's an interesting look. Really nice card. I can't tell too much what the background is going on, what's going on in the background rather, because of the holographic overlay, but in hand it'll look a lot better, I'm sure. Here we have, oh, is that it? That seems to be it, because these are from the, yeah, that's it. These are from the little mini sets, the little mini decks that came out a few weeks ago. Yeah, so Armor God was the last card of that set. This is a long video for sure. I'm probably not going to edit much out of it, if anything. And this is probably how it's going to be going forward, just so that there's not a lot of work to put into this before I actually put it out. And I'm not really a fan of overproduced work, especially like audio work. I don't like cuts and stuff like that. So I would suggest watching this in like 2 times. In the future. I mean, obviously this is the end, so me telling you this now is kind of useless. But yeah, hopefully you are less bored when you're at home watching this, and hopefully we don't have to stay inside too much longer. And until next set, I guess that's it for me. I'll always be on Twitter talking about cards and stuff like that, posting my drawings, posting my commissions. And thanks for listening, thanks for watching. Yeah, let me